turned out we got mold, so it's not working. Like new. I'm so pleased.
So the summer is officially over. We returned to the plot after almost 3 weeks of absence because of our summer vacation.
Oi vitsi kun näyttää hyvälle.
And first things first, we went to check how the crops are doing.
Onko se siinä päällä? Yes. Mikä onnistunut. Tääkin. Kyllä.
And it seems like we won't run out of apples this year either.
Mieti, ei voisi tehdä noin, jos olisi joutunut kaupasta ostamaan.
The berries, however, are not doing that well. Apparently the birds are quicker collecting these than us.
Jännittääkö? Onko tullut tuhoja? Mua kyllä jännittää. Hirveä määrä linnunpaskaa, mutta ei oo siis lätäköitä.
So that's a positive surprise. It was time to start an exciting new task. Clay plaster. This May I went to a clay plaster course, and that sealed the deal. Instead of the wood fiber boards, we're gonna use clay. I was very unsure if the mixture is right or not, but much of working with clay comes from the gut feel and gained experience, so I thought that we just have to start somewhere. My main goal was that the clay will stick to the wall, and apparently it did.
Ainakaan ropisu alas. Samihan kysyttiin, jos muistatte tuosta se koneessa näitä hipsiä, niin se kysyi, että tehdäänkö ulkoseinä tasan tai sisäseinä, kun vanhat ihmiset on niin paljon paksumpia asioita. Ja sitten mä sanoin silleen, että tasataan ulkoseinä, niin on helpompi tehdä tuo ulkopanelointi, koska sisäseinä tehdään. No, levitettiin.
The project I have on hand at home is the window restoring I started already this summer. A task I have been prolonging out of pure fear. There's a lot of work and lots of steps to remember. So if I make a mistake, there will be a lot of work to redo everything. So I have been taking it very slow. But when I got to the point of getting one window glass removed intact, I felt a little relief. For a while at least. Until I started to remove the rest of the putty. And it seemed impossible. Let's add this to the things that I thought that I could just do in a couple of days. I cannot. I'm feeling a bit frustrated. I don't have the speed heater or whatever it's called to get all the kitty off the windows, so I'm too embarrassed to say how much time I have spent on the windows just to try to get the kitty off. I'm sorry, I'm a bit tired. It's not working, and I'm on my first 2 windows, so just the thought of having to do this, all of this again as soon as possible, hopefully, feels a bit yeah, you know. But there's not a problem where sleeping on it wouldn't help, and eventually I got all the putty off. I was just very tired and hungry, and that's when things usually don't work out. So I at first thought that I'm just gonna replace the linseed oil putty here on the bottom of the window, because that was in the worst shape, and then just paint it to give it some extra time, and because we need to get these windows installed as soon as possible. So but then when I started to work on them, I realized that it's actually in a bad shape everywhere else too, and I thought that if I'm not doing this properly now, I'm just making more work for me in the future, because I need to take all of that off too, that I had just been replaced if I were to just work on the lower part of the window. So I decided to start scraping or sanding the paint off, and then removing the linseed oil putty, and then removing all the windows, and then I thought that this will do. But then I realized that all of the
iron angles support things here, they were completely rusty, so they were like cracking when I touched them, so I decided to take those off. Then at first I thought that I'm gonna leave these, but then I thought that I'm gonna take them off and remove the paint so I can paint them. That's why I'm here. So this became a whole task after I just thought that I'm gonna do a small patch here. Out of the 6 window glasses, I only broke 2, so that's better than I thought it would be. So this paint removal thing from these, I thought that it's gonna be a hard task, but turns out it's not. I found out that you just soak these in linseed soap and that's it. And I'm so excited. This feels too easy. I'm wondering if I'm doing something wrong. And what I love about this, you can wash your hands with this stuff, you can wash your floors, you can wash your car, you can do basically all things with just this. It's like a little miracle to me. The excitement doesn't stop there, because what I'm excited about next after the linseed soap is the preventing of rust. I don't know what's a simple word for this. Cue in the next miracle of the traditional materials. Linseed oil paint in the color of järnmönja. So it's called rautamönja, which is basically iron gunk. And it's just basic linseed oil paint in the color järnmönja. This is like my new religion. Yeah. Then here are the new supports. So this is gonna be here. Oh, it's looking so nice. I'm getting excited.
So all the parts I was gonna remove are now removed. But the weather and working on the sash had caused it to bend. And it wouldn't shut.
Tää vaihtuu tää kohta, kun mä... Siis mä hion tuolta alhaalta, niin sit se alkaa ottaa kiinni jostain muualta. Eli ehkä parempi, kun mä en vaan koske enää tähän.
The old wood on the windows really needed some love, so I brushed them with linseed oil. This was a very pleasant step on the process, and here you can see in real time just how bad it needed oiling. Here on the lowest part of the sash, the corner bracket screws have eaten out the wood. It would have been so smart to change the whole bottom rail now, but I had to stop this snowballing effect on this project somewhere, and ditching the woodwork here seemed like a good spot. So instead I just use these pegs to fill the holes, and I will use putty to fill the rest of the gaps. So I'm hoping this will give the windows a few more years. There's many ways to prepare the gap, apparently called a rabbet for the putty, but I chose to use this Swedish way of using shellac. After all, Swedes tend to do everything better than us Finns, except of course having a sauna or building one.
So this one was on top of the jar, and on the other side there's still paint, so I'm just gonna put it back here and leave it. But these other ones, these are just okay. I'm just gonna scrape these with a knife or something, and I think these will be good to go. So if you're wondering, yes, it works. I was wondering too, but yeah. Like new. Ah, I'm so pleased. Today's first sigh of relief was when I drove here on the plat just now and saw that the house is still there and it hasn't burned down. I will show you why. So this is the reason. I'm gonna turn this off so there's no weird humming all the time. I really thought that I would be able to show you our finished product one finished step here in this video, but turned out we got mold, so things kind of fell behind for a while. My first idea here on the kitchen walls here in this room was to put these like wood fiber boards on these walls, which works as a bit of an extra, not maybe insulation, but kind of windproofing the lock frame. But then I went to this clay plaster course by Suveka Kymäläinen, and when I went to that course I decided that of course we are gonna use this technique instead of the wood fiber boards, because this is so much easier. We don't have to like level all these walls for the boards, and this is also cheaper, and there is so many good qualities in clay. Yeah, we started to fill the gaps here. Everything was going so smooth. After a few days I realized that most of the clay here in the specific parts where there's older logs, the clay wasn't drying up. And we waited for a few days and it was still not dry. And then when we filled these like bigger gaps here, I think that was the breaking point where so much moisture was in this room, together with it was very rainy outside also for a few days, and it's still very wet outside. So that, plus that we have the plastics here in the windows and doors, so there's not enough air circulating here in this room. So that caused the drying to slow down, and that caused the clay to mold. I decided that let's take it off and let the air circulate here a bit and let the room dry, and then we'll start bit by bit again. Kestääköhän myös laivan purkaminen kauemmin?
Hyvin paras laitassa on se, kun se pystytään rakentamaan aika lailla modulaarisesti niin osan kerrallaan.
Niin mä katsoin se jonkun dokumentin. So here you can see that all of these grayish areas was where we had clay. I don't know, maybe the clay would have eventually dried up and maybe the mold would have been like easy just to wipe off, but I didn't want to risk it because I don't need any more trouble. I have exceeded the limit of trouble I can handle on this house, so I'm not gonna cause any more trouble for myself or us. So yeah, that happened. So we took it off. Nämä on kaikki kuivutettu. Days ago, I was super worried, stressed, and about to give up again. Yesterday, when we were here doing these, I was feeling a bit better because I started to think with reason and not just panicking. And today, I'm feeling like this will be fine. So this will be fine, I'm sure. It was just a little setback. So here you can see the dried clay plaster here, and then here parts of the clay that we did last night. We decided that we're gonna minimize the amount of clay we're working with, so we're gonna fill these gaps now in two parts. So there's the first layer, and we're gonna let this one dry, and then we're gonna like level it. So I'm not sure if it's right, please don't follow these steps. But we are just experimenting here, what works and what doesn't. So we decided we cannot take the plastics off, of course, because there's floor insulation and floorboards and we don't want the rain to ruin it. So we made this kind of like, I don't know what you call this. There's gaps here. Fresh air is coming through here and going the other way over there. And also we have that little tiny machine that should help a little bit. But I'm gonna show you the new logs because they look totally different and it worked like a charm there. So here you can see there was no problem at all on this wall. I'm thinking that the mold issue was just because the old logs were so dirty and it was so moist here, so that kind of worked together hand in hand causing the problem. But yeah, so here everything is fine, but on the older logs there's some trouble to solve out. So we made a mistake. Now we learned. We're not gonna make the same mistake again. So that's the beautiful part of being a human. You can always learn. It seems that the dark season is creeping up on us. It's 9 p.m. and it's already getting dark, which means that Saturday or Sunday are the only days that I'm gonna see this place in daylight for the next 4-5 months. But we'll get through it. This is not our first winter. This is Finland. In just a few days it's gonna be September, and right in the beginning of September we should have Sami here. Sami is the guy who has done all the log work here and was here helping us build the foundations. And he will come here
there was something that he wanted to fix which didn't bother us at all, but he's a very thorough guy. And then he's gonna fix the corner there in the kitchen that had like rotten logs. Just a while ago we also found a bit more rot. Yes, that is possible. There's a spot which we didn't see before. And also he's gonna help us saw these kind of support beams to this room where there's the hole in the wall. I will show you more in the next video, hopefully. But yeah, that's gonna happen next month, and we should be able to install our first window, which I have restored, and hopefully the clay plaster will be finished and there will be no more mold. Okay, I'll go home now, start to edit this video. I'm hoping I'll get this done in a few days. Oh my god.